Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Live with Royce and Lisa.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you all are having a great Thursday. And welcome to Let's Talk Live. And you want to do the sponsors?
Yep. Sponsored by Seabreeze Non-Emergency Medical Transportation, Just Like That Creation, and Be Blessed Brand.
Yes, absolutely. Also, want to do a special shout out to Making Magic Productions Network, Miss Neek Mason, who gave me the opportunity to come out and be a guest judge on last Saturday. At a great time. Rockford has some great talent. Got a lot of people that's going to be doing some great things here. So thank you, Nick, for coming back from Atlanta and doing what you did. And hopefully we'll get to see you soon. You want to give them today's topic?
Today's topic is, does what draw you drive you?
So what does that mean to you?
Is what I'm drawn to, what I gravitate to, is that same thing something that will drive me to do better? Or will it drive me to be more of the same and stuck in a rut and never changing? So is it driving you, and what is it driving you to?
Absolutely. You know, a lot of times we gravitate to what's familiar to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get used to doing a certain thing or get us in a routine, or people loving us in a certain way or not loving us in a certain way. And that's what we are, for some reason, we're just drawn to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a good thing, but it can also be a very negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were talking earlier about when we started talking about this topic. One of the things that we talked about was somebody who's in a domestic violence situation or grew up seeing domestic violence. You saw dad beating up on mom or whatever, and you trying to gravitate toward that type of man, not even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in that situation, it could be a very negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to give me your thoughts on this real quick while I do this?
I agree. That's a great example. But we don't even need to, even though we're talking about relationships, we can truly apply that same thought process to anything that we even do. The habits, the circles that we travel in, that we gravitate to. And then we wonder why we get the same result. Or we're visiting old thoughts and old feelings in what we thought was a new group or we thought was a new relationship. And it's like, how did I get here again?
Right.
It's because we tend to gravitate to what's familiar, or will wear it. You know, a lot of times, and using the example of domestic violence relationships, a lot of times abusers can pick up on certain characteristics of someone who has been in that situation before. And then likewise, what is good, and nothing about domestic violence is good, but the characteristics of an abuser is strong, but it's also manipulative. It could be low self-esteem in the abuser, so they act out, and then you get the recipient of that being a nurturer. So they tend to want to fix it, and so it's a cycle. So that's why what we gravitate to, we should always kind of go in with a little bit of trepidation. Am I doing what I've done before and expecting something different to happen?
Right. You know, when I think about it too, I can relate it to my book, Hidden Feelings. You know, where the main character grew up without a dad. His dad died early on in his life. And so he grew up not knowing how to show his emotions or share his feelings. So then he gets into a relationship with those same characteristics because now he doesn't know how to do it. So I want to ask you this. Once he gets into that relationship, he doesn't know how to truly love someone or even receive love because he's never really felt it.
But he wants it.
But he wants it. So he's drawn to what's familiar to him. So where does he go from there? If he doesn't know how to show it, how would a woman expect him to show something that he's never known to show?
Well, I think your question is kind of like, what am I supposed to tell a man to think? Or
I mean, but if that was me, if I was Troy and I never knew love, never knew how to give it, never knew how to receive it, I meet you and you're wanting that from me, but I don't know how to show it.
But do you have it within you to communicate it just as you just did? Do you, as a man, even and as a woman, if it's what you wanted, but you didn't know how to go about asking for it or bringing it out of someone, you have to be able to communicate. If you can't find the words, if you're a writer, write it. If you're a singer, put it to song. But it's unfair to expect someone in a relationship to read that. You have to be able to articulate it. If you grew up a certain way and this person knows nothing of your background, how do they know what you've been exposed to? How do they know what hidden things are there if you never find your voice? On the other end of that, the person you're in a relationship with has to set the platform for you to be able to express it.
But here's the problem with that though. I may not even know that this is how I am because this is where I've been all my life.
Then you know that's how you are.
But when it comes to, I'm thinking that I'm pretty expressive. I'm thinking that, this is the way men are supposed to be. Because I've never seen any, I don't see many men do it. Okay. And the ones that I do see do it, I think 9 times out of 10 are so-called soft.
So then if you say to your significant other, this is how I was raised men to be, this is how I was raised that men are to be in a relationship, and then that does not feel good, it's not something that your significant other can process or is welcoming, then they need to say, okay, this is not going to work, or we need to see how do we expand that thought. Right. It's okay if you say, all I've seen was men to be hard workers and this, that, and the other, but I'm open. Now we've got something to work with. But if you just come in and say, this is what I know a man to be, this is all I've seen, or I ain't seen a man do this, so this is what I'm going to do because this is what's always worked for me, but I want you to be okay with it in a relationship with me, then you're not open.
But here's the thing. When you tell me, let's say you say, Royce, this is what I need from you. My response might be, I don't know how to give that to you. I don't even know what that looks like. Because I never saw it. Mm-hmm. So you want something from me that I don't even know how to go about doing it.
But you want to be in a relationship.
But I want to be I want to love you, but I don't know how to love you. Which I think is a problem in a lot of relationships.
But that's communication. I don't know how to love you. I can show you how to love me. Do you want to love me the way I need to be loved? See, you have to have that conversation. Now, if he just says, I don't know how to do it, therefore I'm not, you've got nothing.
Right. But then when it doesn't happen in your time frame.
No.
But here's the thing, because some women will be like, I need this to happen now. And all along, you've been letting me go.
You have to communicate. You have to communicate even timelines. If she says, I need this or else because of my history. So you can't ask someone to just give me a blank slate and don't put me on a timetable and because I don't work well like that. Meanwhile, she may have come out of a relationship and said, I will never settle again. I will never wait on a man again. So you can't just say, not in your time, but in my time, I get around to what you need. That's not fair.
Okay, so let's kind of flip the script here. Let's say the woman has been abused in her past, um, cheated on by men, has just been dogged out by men in general. She doesn't know how to be loved. She doesn't even know how to be touched or treated as a queen. So then she finds a guy who really likes her, who's really affectionate, loves to communicate, loves to do all these things. He's grabbing her hand, she's pulling away. So to the guy, it's like, okay, well, you don't want me, so I'm ready to bounce. But this is what the woman has been wanting all this time.
Where's your question?
What do you do in that situation?
Again, you start with communication.
But it's one thing to communicate it, but it's one thing to put actual action into it.
I understand, but you have to communicate.
Because every time I lean in to kiss you, you pull away, or
I don't think anybody's just gonna pull away every time. Now I will say that some people are not okay with PDA. They just don't want it.
Right.
But I think, within the home, she may be okay with it. Outside of the home, he don't know how to push pause, and she's like, I'm uncomfortable with that. Then that's just something that needs to happen through communication and over time. If he say, I ain't got time to wait on you to let me, fondle you in public and get all on your neck, and I want to do this, and she's like, you either got to ease me into it or it's not gonna work.
Right. Ardeen said something really important too. She added patience.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get into this relationship stage, you got to have patience with one another, and like you said, you got to be able to communicate with one another. I mean, that's the whole foundation of it. Talk about it. Ask her what is the deal. Work it out. You definitely got to find out what the deal is.
And again, we all come into relationships, friendships. This is not just your intimate significant other. This is with friendships too. We come in with preconceived ideas of how it's going to be, and we do that based upon conditioning from previous relationships and friendships. So when you come in, you just have to know this person never knew me. They don't know my history. They don't know what I've been through. And either I sought them out because it was familiar, or I'm truly going against the grain and want to do something different. So I'm going with the total opposite of what I ever had.
Right.
Either way, if you sought what you've always had, what you're familiar with, and you've got it now he yours.
Mm-hmm.
She's yours, he's yours. You're in this relationship, and you want the relationship to work because of the familiarity, but yet and still you want something different.
Right.
You want to get that person that likes the PDA. You want to get that person that will pray. You want to get that person that went to church, even though you knew she didn't go to church when y'all met. But now you want her to go.
Right.
You sought the one that could get it quick, that could secure the bag, as they say. But now you're older. You ain't got your knees is bad. You can't run. You ain't got your FOIA card. They ain't up to date no more. You got to slow down for whatever reason. Now you get looking at Social Security.
Right.
So you've changed, you've grown, and it's time for your situation to look different. Now you sitting at home with grandbabies.
Yeah.
And he want to be a granddad. So you've slowed down. How do you get to, okay, this is our lives now? How do you let it drive you into something different? How do you look at yourself? How do you see yourself in the future? Growing past we just met, this is hot and fun, and we smiling and laughing and giggling, because things change in a relationship. The chemistry changes in a relationship. And so you have to know that what drew me in the beginning may not be what's driving us to the next level.
Right.
Because it satisfied us for that time.
Mm-hmm. And as we grow older, things change. So, personalities change, things that you like change, the little pet peeves may change. All these different things may change. But here's the thing that we kind of skipped over. We probably should have backtracked. This all starts when you're single,
Yeah.
because you have to get to know yourself. Because hurt people will hurt people, and if you're hurt already, you may be drawn to somebody else who's hurt. So now you got two hurt people trying to bring this thing together, and both of you are driving each other away.
But I think, in going back to the single, staying right there, I think male and female need to be futuristic in their pursuit. A lot of times we're not, and even once we're in the relationship, we need to be futuristic in how we set our goals and plan. And when I say futuristic, I don't mean next 30 days. So when you're single and you're looking, you need to be futuristic. Not what I want right now, but what do I want later?
Right.
Because if you don't see a hint of that, and I'm not saying people don't change, because people change for the good all the time. People say, I'm tapping out, I got to do something different all the time. But if you're not futuristic in your thinking, in your pursuit, then you may settle for what's tight and right now, and she'll never work.
Right. So since you said that, one of the questions.
When I say never work, I mean never work. Like never
Right.
clock in, but she'll
Right.
never work. But she was cute at home.
So the question is, how do you manage the chemistry changing? By communication, first of all.
Yes.
You have to talk. You have to date.
Yes.
And figure out what's changing and why is it changing.
Because chemistry does not change overnight.
Right.
It
It's a gradual thing.
Truly, and it will do a stealth drop on you. Be like, when did this happen? But it happens over time. And when the chemistry changes, again, communication, because it's key. Patience. I think you have to want that person regardless of that change. And I guess it depends on what brought on the change.
Right.
Because chemistry can change, and it was out of no one's control. Chemistry can change due to medical issues. Things can't happen the way they used to happen. Chemistry can change because of financial things. Did something wrong on the job, lost the job, and you was out for 6 months. So every day for 6 months you coming in and you looking at somebody that used to toe the row and do their part, and now all of a sudden you see them differently, and now you're questioning, will they ever get back to where they were? Will they ever work again? So your outlook is changing, and you don't know what that person's going through. So chemistry can change for a number of reasons. But the thing is, can you love
past that?
Yes. Can you love past that until you can get it back? And you definitely can get it back.
It's work that's got to be put into it.
Yeah.
With this going out on the dates.
Yeah.
That's how you make sure the chemistry stays strong. And a lot of times we want to gloss over that. Well, we get busy with the kids. We got this to do this week. We got that to do next week. We don't have time. You got to make the time. And even if it's a 5-10 minute date, whatever you got to do to put it in your schedule, make sure you can put it in your schedule to get in each other's face.
And even if you don't find the time in a week or in 2 weeks, if you don't find the time to say, hey, it's just me and you and it's an hour. If you don't have that throughout the day, I'm just being mindful of one another. That helps. But again, those things that you did in the beginning, those things that drew you,
right,
you have to say, those are the things that we're going to make consistent throughout our relationship.
Somebody else said, you start cultivating to do something different. Step back and look at yourself. That's a great point. Mm-hmm. And I remember when we were divorced, I had to step back and look at myself. And I shared this with other people before. I went to Lisa and asked her, what could I do to be better? Not, even if we never got back together, I wanted to be a better person or a better husband for my next. Whatever my next was going to be, I wanted to be better. So I had to take a step back and do my own inventory, look in the mirror, and honestly say, hey, I was a bad person. Not a bad person, I just didn't do things the right way. It's difficult when you're the long-term planning and goals when the other person is kind of just wings it without a plan. Sounds familiar?
It sounds very familiar. But
that was us.
That
was us.
I will say to that is different, but it can still work. You just have to be strategic about the plan, because if you think of it in terms of, I've planned for the long term, they're planning for the short term, eventually they're going to step directly in what you had already planned, because you planned it for the long term. So you have to focus on the things that you do best. Polish them every day, the things that you know you do, and you set that person that has more of a short-term frame of thinking, you set them up to succeed in the short term, because you've already gone ahead. So you've laid the foundation for the person that looks short term to be successful, because they're coming in behind you, what you've already done.
I remember when I worked at Motorola, and we had this thing that they did, and I loved it, and I think it works for marriage as well. Let's say you make 2 goals for yourself, and then you write down how those goals that you have set for yourself, how does that help the company? So let's say if I wanted to go to school to be a lawyer, and I wanted to work in business law, that would help the company, because now they would invest in me, because now I'm giving back to them. Mm-hmm. Same thing with us. You're more the long-term thinker than I am. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of stuff short-term. Mm-hmm. But I also make sure that it lines up with what the family needs. Mm-hmm. So even when we started the businesses, even when I started photography, and that came from the clothing line, I needed a photographer to take pictures of the clothes and the models. Well, I can't afford to keep paying a photographer. Same thing with the book. I couldn't afford to pay a photographer to take pictures for the books. Well, why? I love taking pictures. I do it anyway on the phone. Why not learn how to do it myself? Mm-hmm. So all the things, and then too, all of that lined up with what we want to do with our life. We want to have multiple streams of income. Mm-hmm. We want to have all these different things. So when you take what you want and what the family needs, and you kind of combine it together, it works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It does. Another question?
It's the patience for me, but I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely.
Oh yeah, that's. Yes, patience it's a must. It's a must, because you're 2 different people, 2 different imperfect people, trying to make the best out of every situation for not only yourself, because you want to be happy in it. You don't want it to be all sacrifice. You want to reap the benefits of it. Right. And then 2, for your family as a whole, so.
Someone said, be intentional on making it happen by changing your mindset first.
Yes. Yes.
And that kind of goes along with what we do every day. We choose each other daily. Mm-hmm. We have the saying, I choose you daily. Mm-hmm. I choose to be her husband daily. I choose everything about her everything that I do, I have with Lisa in mind.
Mm-hmm. One thing, and I want to say this before I lose my thought. Okay, so back to dating, and this is singles and people that are actually in a relationship. If what drew you to that person is what you've always kind of gravitated to, and yet and still there are things that you would want that you haven't really seen in them, I want you to be intentional. Mm-hmm. Have a conversation and say, is it within you to give me XYZ? And it would be perfect to have that conversation out of the gate when you don't know them and you're getting to know each other, and you say, I was attracted to you because, you got them arms and you got that six pack and you got them thighs, you got everything that I'm drawn to. But is it within you to be nurturing, to be a caregiver? Are you a great communicator? Is it within you? Because you've got the package, but is the contents of the package where you want to be in the future? And if they say, hopefully they're truthful and don't just be like, well, yeah, because you got the package too. and your content's just as messy as they content. So hopefully they'll be open and honest enough to say, I may not have it all. I have some of that, but I'm willing to get there. Because now you have something to work with.
Man, my cousin, she said sometimes it takes a reset of your mentality, then other things will follow. She must have heard us say that.
Did you read the book?
Have you been reading our books and saying watching Let's Talk Live? But that's so very true.
You can hit the reset
at any time.
At any time. And you know what? It's so funny because we talked about hitting the reset when things were like really, really, really bad. Yeah. When we were trying to get back together and trying to figure it out. But, you don't always have to be on the brink of collapse to hit that reset. Sometimes you need a reset just to refresh, to turn up the heat a little bit. That reset button, consider it truly like that. Is it the easy button?
Yep.
Consider it truly. Boom! Everything changed. The color of the walls changed. The pillows changed. The beds changed. Do it all. Truly reset. Have a different frame of mind when you open the door to your home. This is new. What we did yesterday didn't work. We're resetting. Hello, how are you? Okay, I didn't give you a key, but I know you got a key, so I should know you. What is your name? Truly reset and reintroduce yourself.
And fellas, go out, get dressed up somewhere else, go to somebody's friend's house, whatever, get dressed. Come knock on the door, ask them to take her out to dinner. Ladies, get dressed up. Don't always be in your sweats and whatever. Get dialed up something one night.
Like me.
And, come to the door with your lashes on, whatever you need to do to get dialed up.
I ain't gonna have no lashes on, y'all.
I'm just saying, whatever you need to do.
I don't even know how to put
and y'all go out on a date. If you can't go nowhere, go to a park. Fly a kite. It was fun.
The reset is...
It literally can do anything.
And it's necessary. It's necessary.
Definitely. Especially, and I know when you ain't got no money, when you broke, it's hard. You may think that it's hard to hit the reset button, but it's not. Because hitting the reset button doesn't have to cost you a thing.
Go get some ice cream sandwiches and put a candle in the middle.
There you go. Keep it simple.
It could be so easy.
Yeah.
It does not have to be different. Download Wordle and cast it to the TV and just play it together.
I'm so stubborn, y'all. When I'm mad, I don't want to be in the same room breathing the same air. You got to get over that.
You for real got to get over it. You passing that right now, right? Right. In the name of Jesus.
Right. You cannot be that way in a relationship. I don't care how mad you are. That's still your best friend.
Yeah.
We're going to be mad together.
Yeah.
Breathing the same air.
Yeah.
In the same room, in the same... Yeah.
I know.
It's hard. It's hard.
I know.
But that's your best friend.
And, I guess in the times where things were bad, even now, I just use now. Even now, when I get upset, when I get frustrated, I don't get angry, but when I get upset, when I just don't feel like it, put your mind on the higher things. Put your mind on the things that work. Put your mind on When it's good, it's really good. And then consider, is this thing that's bad worth me spending another moment on? Because if it's not worth it, move on.
In my words of my mama, it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna
And
be okay.
in the words of my mama, she would say, "Are you gonna leave him over it? No. Then quit spending time being mad about it. Hurry up and get over it. Get over it quickly. Get over it quickly."
Think about this. While you're spending that time being mad, what if something were to happen to him? Or vice versa. What if something was to happen to her? And you spent all this time being mad over something that's really small. And you just lost your best friend.
It takes a lot of energy to be mad.
Yeah.
It does. It takes a lot of, and I found that out the older I got. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of energy to be mad.
And to stay mad. Because now you purposely staying mad.
Yes.
You don't have to be mad.
Tiring.
You want to be mad.
It is tiring. I'd rather just put it on the table. My mama said, I used to say, I said my mama told me this, and she said, I never said that. But I remember my mother told me once, her pastor, I think it was Pastor Bland at the time, said, or no, it was Pastor Board, put the issues on the table. Let's put the issues on the table. And you put them on the table so that you can clearly see them. You can write it all out. But I used to say, put the dog on the table. My mama said, Lisa, I never said put the dog on the table. I said, well, I guess it kind of makes sense. You put the dog on the table, and then everybody's saying, why is the dog on the table? And then you're going to talk about it. It's like the elephant in the room. Don't let it fester.
Girl's on fire.
That same passion, that same zeal that gets under your nails right now is what attracted you to that person. Mm-hmm. And so you have to use what drew you to drive you to figure it out.
That's good. That's good.
If I loved your passion about cars, I loved your passion about your children, I loved that, then I can't say, I sure wish you would quit always washing that car every week, and why you always got to go pick up them kids. That's what drew you. So don't allow those things that you felt passionate about, that you liked for him to do, to turn around and be the kryptonite of the relationship.
I gotta read this. When you know you are a particular way, be willing to change. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you. That's good.
Read it again.
That's good. When you know you are a particular way, be willing to change. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you.
Absolutely.
That is so good. And even when things are going wrong, pray about it.
When things are right,
pray about it.
Because I want to stay on that. Because a lot of times, if you're in the heat of something, if you're in the heat of your mess, yours. I'm in the heat of my stubbornness. At that point in time, I'm probably not going to pray. But I know this is genuinely me. Our friend that said, I just don't even want to be in the same room. Okay, that you should have prayed about. You can't pray about it right now sincerely because you're in your feelings about it. But when you come out of being in your feelings about it, then is the time to truly pray. Because then you can say, Lord, I'm able to humble myself because I'm not emotional about it right now. So if you know that's a particular thing, pray about it when it's not inflamed. Right. The best time to treat a rash is not when the rash is like, the best time to treat a rash is when you just feel it. When you're mindful of it. It's there. So the same thing, when you know you're stuck in a way, when you know you have an issue, pray about it before it blows up, before it escalates. Because you put yourself in a better position to truly hear what the Lord wants you to hear.
That's true. And then too, when you're emotional, don't make any decisions.
No.
A lot of times we make bad decisions when we're emotional. Mm-hmm. And we're not thinking. We're acting on impulse. And that can get you into trouble. So be mindful of that.
Last question I would say to ask yourself. Before you make an emotional decision, before you decide to just go in your corner and stay there, back to what our parents told us. And then two, tapping into what you said. If it ended right now, is this the last thought that you want your significant other to even have about you? Forget if this is the last thought you want to have about them. Is this the last thought you want them to have about you? Your best friend.
Yeah. You know, and we can't say that enough. Your best friend. Mm-hmm. You know, it's important. Not only, you know, is this my spouse, this is truly my best friend. Because sometimes we have a tendency to treat our best friends better than our spouse. Mm. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. Rose and Richard, we're going to have to get y'all on here some kind of way, because y'all, man, I'm telling you.
Yes.
Y'all on fire tonight.
I love the high road.
Yes.
You get a better visual.
Right.
You stay up there on the high road. You Definitely. Can see things a little bit more clear.
And so thank y'all for tuning in with us. We generally try to keep it within a half hour. But this is kind of good, so we went a little bit long. And as always, if you have any suggestions or topics that you want us to talk about, please let us know. This is our ministry. This is what we want to do. We want to help people. We're not looking to get rich by doing this or become famous or anything like that. We just want to help people. So
I'm looking for whatever the Lord say.
Right. I'm not going to be mad if it comes.
If the Lord say.
Right. But, I mean, if it come, it come. But I don't expect it.
Absolutely.
Love you too, cuz.
Love you too.
All right, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. We genuinely this makes us happy.
Yeah.
When we can sit down and do this, you know, and talk to you guys. And you guys come and talking back to it. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, so
it was a good topic.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I do. I do just want to say in closing, just make sure when you're looking, when you're seeking, when you're in the relationship, those things that caught your eye, they may not be negative things. They may definitely be positive things. You know, some people are visual beings. Men in the beginning are visual, and then they learn to love us in spite of what our hair look like. But, you know, out the gate, they are very much just visual, truth be told.
True.
But just know that what drew you, the things that you truly found out about your partner that, you know, I really want this in them. I really want them to do this or be this for me. Communicate that. And when things get rough, pray, reset. Pray, reset. Not every relationship can be salvaged. Not every relationship that
should be salvaged.
Exactly. It is some folk that's unequally yoked. That's why it's in the Bible.
Yeah. And my last word for today is be intentional. Be intentional with the love that you give and the love that you receive. Make sure that you're not putting up a wall because of your past that doesn't allow you to let anything in or let anything out. So be intentional with the way you love and who you love. Mm-hmm. And not everybody deserves your love. So with that being said, I think that's it. Join us in 2 weeks. We'll be back. Not sure what the topic will be, but we'll think of something by then. Stay tuned to the Facebook page. If you haven't joined the I Still Do page, please do so. If you can't find it, inbox me or put it on my Facebook page, and I'll make sure you get connected, because hopefully COVID will be over soon and numbers are going down and we can get out and do something together and make this a bigger thing. We do a big roundtable discussion on relationships. Oh. Or maybe even get to do that conference that we've been wanting to do. Mm-hmm. What?
Nothing.
So we'll see. And I'm still working on the book, y'all. Pray for me. But this writer's block is kind of messing with me. I can't get it out what I want to say.
And it's really good, and I really wish you'd get it out, because I'm ready for it. I'm
definitely trying. This is Hidden Feelings Part 2.
It's not Hidden Feelings Part 2.
Well, it's Part 2 to Hidden Feelings.
That's not the name.
Haven't even came up with the name yet. What did I say now? We'll talk about it later. Is there more? Is there more? What y'all think about the title? Let me know. Is there more? Inbox. Put it on my Facebook page. What do y'all think? I'll do a little poll.
I'm telling you, it's definitely fitting for the book.
Yeah, because there's more and more to unpack.
Yes.
and this may become a series of books. I'm thinking that that's the plan. But anyway, y'all have a good night. Thank y'all again for tuning in. Appreciate you.
Thank
Love you.
you. Bye.
Bye.